Hey y'all, it's your girl Beauty by Ashley Delgado here. Welcome back to my channel. I am currently getting ready for a photo shoot that I have at 2 o'clock. I have about 30 minutes to get ready, but I thought why not come on and film a quick get ready with me as I tell you a little story, kind of like a word of encouragement sort of thing like that. But before we do that, of course, of all days, my face wants to be acting up and breaking out. Like, what is going on? But we're going to cover that up. And my photographer is very amazing. So she will also cover that up if I can't do a good job with my makeup. Don't forget to give your girl a thumbs up. Turn on that bell because I will be putting out more videos very soon. So let's get started. I just waxed my brows really quickly before getting ready, so I hope that I took all of the stickiness away. But I'm going to start right here with my brows, and while I get ready, I just wanted to tell you guys something that I shared at a service that we were hosting. I was on Facebook Live and I was watching Pastor Michelle, and she does Wake Up and Pray every Wednesday and Friday, if I'm not mistaken. You could check her out on Facebook as Pastor Michelle. I can also post her information down below in the comments if you guys are interested, but I like to jump on and watch her every once in a while. And I was watching this day. Hold on, before I forget, let me cover these pimples because I will walk out of here and forget. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my Tarte concealer and I'm just going to place some on like the bigger pimples there that I have. Well, some of them aren't even pimples anymore. They're just redness that takes forever to go away because of my complexion. So it takes some time. So it's like everywhere. I don't even know what to do. Anyways, so I'm gonna put that on. We're just gonna let that kind of sit there while I do my brows. So continue. So okay, so I was listening to her live and she was talking about basically about curly hair, but this just what she was saying like really resonated with me and it reminded me of something. So as you all know, I am a makeup artist, but I also am a hairdresser by trade. So I have my license in cosmetology and hairdressing, and there was a time in my life where I worked behind a chair as a hairdresser. And so she brought me back to this time. It's so funny because I was thinking about this time when like people would sit in my chair and they literally would beg me to trim like they would say like, just trim just like a tiny bit, like just a dusting of a haircut. And I'm like, in my head, I'm just like, what is the point of that? You know, I would like try to convince them that that's not what they wanted, right? That they just wanted to cut more so they can have healthy hair and it could just, you know, give them the look that they wanted. Because a lot of the times people would come in with like these hair inspirations that they would get either from my page or they would just Google it kind of and bring it in and be like, oh, I want my hair to look like this. And I'm like, all right, so we have to be a little realistic, because if you're not willing to sacrifice the length and cut off those split ends, then there's no way, you know, that you can have that luxury hair that you want, right? Hello. It's like, I don't know if people know this, but the longer you hold on to your split ends, the more damage you're going to do to your hair, because the split ends just continue to go up and up and up and up, and it just ruins your hair. And that's why you have fallout and all of that stuff. Like, split ends literally means what it sounds like. It's your hair splitting off. So I was thinking about that, and I was thinking about these people, right? And how frustrated I used to get with them. Like, why wouldn't they just cut their hair and they can have exactly what they wanted? Like, they just wouldn't listen to me and they wouldn't trust the process. And sometimes you just have to, you know, trust the person that you're going to, because is that not why you go to them? Isn't it because you trust them with what they're doing and you know that their skills are like on point, or like they're not gonna steer you the wrong way, like they know what they're talking about, right? I think so. Sometimes it would just literally get to the point that I was just like, why am I really trying to argue with these people and get them to understand my point? I'm just gonna give them what they want, because honestly it is just a waste of my time. Like, why am I gonna sit here and try to, you know, make them do the things that they don't want to do? Like, I just I was just tired of it, so I didn't want to do it anymore. I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna give these people what they want, you know. And before we would do people's hair, we would give them a consultation and kind of let them know, like, this is, you know, this is what you're gonna be looking like, because this is what you're willing to do. Like, you're not kind of willing to sacrifice the rest, so I'm just letting you know, like, you can't get your hair inspiration, you know. Like, I would just really be honest with them, like, this is not gonna look the way that the picture looks, because let's be real, you know, the texture is usually different, or there's always a lot of different reasons why you're not gonna get the same hair inspiration. So that's why I tell people, listen, when you bring me a hair inspiration, make sure that the person has the same type of hair as you, because then you're more likely to get that hair inspiration. But if not, you're not gonna get that. So anyways, it made me think back to that, and it just kind of made me chuckle, because I feel like sometimes we do exactly that to God. Like, we're like, God, I need this and this and this and this, but we aren't willing to cut off the split ends, the dead weight. We aren't willing to cut off the dead weight, which is literally keeping us from achieving the goal that we want. Mind blown. You have to be realistic when you're doing things like this, guys. Like, come on. But anyways, it made me think about that, right? Like, we constantly ask God for something, and we're like expecting this big move from God, or expecting this like big breakthrough, and God is like, yo, like, I want to give that to you, but you are not willing to sacrifice the things that I need you to sacrifice. Like, you're holding on to these very things that is keeping you from achieving your goal, keeping you from achieving the very thing that you want. Like, that's not the right brush. I'll just keep using this. So he's like, you know, basically telling us, like, you're holding on to the things that I know that aren't good for you. Hello? You're holding on to the very thing that is not good for you, that's not getting you to where you need to be, or to where I want you to be. And this is the problem, and this is why you're not achieving that goal. So you're never going to have that inspiration. You're never going to have that inspiration if you're not willing to sacrifice, if you're not willing to let go of these things that are holding you down, and that have probably been holding you down for a very long time. Like, let's be real, okay? These things have had a hold on you for far too long, and you're like stuck in the same place, wondering why you can't get out of this dark place, wondering why you haven't seen any great things happen in your life. Girl, cut off the split ends. What are you doing? I felt like that was the perfect way for us to kind of understand that. Like, it really just kind of hit me. It hit me hard. I was like, wow, God, like, you're really just trying to show me that, like, I want all these things and have all these expectations, but I don't even trust you. I was so pumped about my story that I realized that I forgot to prime my face. So basically, I just sprayed some Fix-It, what is it called? This MAC Prep and Prime. Listen, don't judge me. I told you that I'm in a rush, so I'm just gonna push in all of that concealer and use some darker concealer as a contour there. So anyways, I just wanted to share this story to kind of encourage you. Like, I hope you have the same wow moment that I had when I heard that, because I was like, yo, I need to go and search myself and see what it is that God has been telling me to cut off, because it is time to cut it off. Like, there's no more time for excuses and wondering why you can't achieve the goal that you have. Why can't you get to that place that you want to be, and have the joy and the freedom and everything else? It's like, stop holding on to that. Trust God. Trust your hairdresser, because they know what they're talking about, okay? So trust God, because he knows what he's talking about. All right, he has it all planned out for you. Like, if only you could just realize that he is the only way and the one that can do it for you, you know? And I get it. It's hard. It's scary, especially like for someone, you know, someone like me, I grew up in a really dysfunctional home as far as like domestic violence and stuff like that. And I'm not going to share my story yet because I am going to have story time for that specifically. This one is just like a word of encouragement. But for someone like me who grew up in a home like that, really crazy and not understanding, it is hard. It is hard to like dissociate. Is that what I'm trying to say? Dissociate your real life from God and what the Bible tells you, right? And it's like, how can God be all these things when this is the kind of life that I lived here on earth, and this is how life has been going for me? Like, there's been no up, it's just all been bad. So it's a little hard to trust, and I get it. It's hard to let go of those things, but when you let them go and when you really just like let God take control and just be God and do the things that he needs to do in your life, because he knows the best ways. He has, you know, all of the plans for you to prosper you, not to bring you any harm or anything like that. So when you truly let go and just allow him to do what he wants to do, I promise you better days will come. Like, if you just let God do what he needs to do for you. It's like, give him the control. Stop trying to have control of your life. You're trying to control everything and like act like you know what's best for you, which I'm sure in your head you think that you do know what's best for you. And I know that from experience, right? Because all of my hurt and stuff that I went through and all of my trauma, I was like, yo, I'm never gonna let anyone do that to me again. Like, I'm gonna be smart, I'm gonna have my guard up, and I'm not gonna allow these things to happen again, because you're only gonna be able to hurt me once, right? So we have that mindset and we're like, nah, I have to protect myself at all costs, and I have to guard my heart from these things because I don't want it to happen. Like, I know the place that I was in, I know how hard it was to get out of, and God is like, I'm not gonna do any of that to you. I'm gonna help you. I'm gonna help you so that you don't go back to that place. I'm gonna help you so that you can see yourself in the way that I see you. I'm gonna help you so that you can know how strong you are, so that you don't have to have your guard up so much and be so like nervous Nelly and just kind of always living on edge. Because in a sense, when you say, you know, I'm gonna have my guard up, it like, it leaves room for things to kind of trigger you and bring you to this like bad negative space. And it's something that you kind of do thinking that you're protecting yourself, but honestly, you're really just causing yourself more harm. Stop holding on to these things that you think is right for you, that you think is best for you, because you think you know best, when really those things that you're holding on to are literally keeping you from getting to that next level that you want to be in. It's keeping you from achieving that goal. So like, wouldn't it just make more sense to kind of just let it go? Let it go. Like, is it even worth, you know, trying to hold on to these things that clearly have not been working for you for many years, right? It hasn't gotten you being like closed off and like keeping your guard up and all that stuff. Has that gotten you to the place that you want to be in? Has it really brought you joy? Has it really given you a sense of freedom? Or has it made you feel like you've healed? Probably not, right? Probably not, because it hasn't. Those things are just adding on. It's dead weight. It's pulling you down. It's not getting you anywhere that you want to be. So why not just kind of take a step of faith and like let it go and see what that does for your life, right? Like, why are we trying to hold on to these things that we know are no good for us? You know, and it's crazy because sometimes we do know. Sometimes we see that we're like, oh, this is not good for us, this doesn't work for us, but you know what, I'm just gonna keep holding on to this because this is what I feel comfortable in, and this is what I've only known my whole life, so this is what makes sense in my opinion. When meanwhile God is like, just let me do it for you, just let me in, like, let me do the work. You can rest. You can rest. You can stop living in fear. You can stop living in anxiety. You can stop living in that like sense of not like being loved or having anyone. You could stop living in loneliness if you would just let God do it for you. If you would just let go of the control side of it and just let God be God. I encourage you to be brave and to do the very thing that you think that you're not capable of, because I know you can. Let these things go, and I promise you that when you do, your life will never be the same. I want to share my story so that you guys can see that I am a living proof, like living example of these things to be true. Like, I'm not just saying it because I want you to like believe in what I believe in, or like, you know, it's not this secret like conspiracy or cult. Like, I don't freaking know. It's not any of those things. It really is just because I want you to be able to find the freedom and the healing that I found. Anxiety is so sometimes it can just keep you in your bed. Sometimes it could just keep you in that place, that ugly, dark, scary place where you feel like you're all alone and no one understands. Anxiety is ugly. It's an ugly beast that people battle. And I promise you that there is freedom for that, from that. There is a way of life without that anxiety, without all of that tension in your chest that sits right here, and it feels like your chest is burning. It feels like someone is stomping on you. It feels like, I don't want to cry because I'm doing my makeup, but it feels like, you know, it's just this heaviness that you constantly battle, and it's like a repeated cycle. You wake up and you go to bed and it's the same thing. It's like, it's never ending, and there is an ending. Like, I promise you, I was on medication for anxiety to help me sleep. There is life beyond all of those things. If you would just let go, if you would just cut off the dead weight, cut the dead weight off. And you might even know exactly what that is. So if you know, just cut it off. And if you don't know, you got to get on your knees and you have to ask God, like, to show you exactly what it is that is holding you from achieving your goal or getting to the place that you want to be. Be bold, guys. Let's be bold and like do it for yourself, you know? Do it for yourself because you love yourself that much. And if you don't love yourself, we can talk about that too, okay? Because I know that there are seasons that we go through where we just don't even love ourselves or think that we are worthy of, you know, being free from these things. You just like lived it for so long, you kind of feel like, well, maybe this is for me. No, that's not for it isn't for you. Trust me, I promise you, I've been there. There is no way that that is for you. You will feel so much better if you just weren't weighed down by the things that are keeping you stuck. And it's like you can have high expectations and you can want all these great things if you're willing to do your part and do the work. Because if you're not willing to do your part and do the work, then why are you expecting change? My pastor said, oh my gosh, he told me that insanity is expecting something different, but doing the exact same thing. Like, how do you think that there will be change in you doing the same old thing? That is literally insane. It's insane to expect different results when you're not willing to do it differently. And you're just doing the same old thing over and over and over and over again. It's insanity. Like, I'm not this, you know, person who has it all figured out, but I tell you that I've come a long way and I know exactly what it is when you're holding on to something that is not good for you, edifying you. Trust me, I get it. Like, it's hard. It is hard to let go. It is hard to change things that, it's just, life is hard. Life is hard. Like, let's be honest, life is hard and it doesn't always seem fair. You could be living differently. You could be living in freedom. You could be living in joy and not having so much anger and sadness in your heart and not feeling like you're stuck. You can make your life different, and I feel like that is a choice that you make every day when you wake up. Just being grateful for, you know, the ability to wake up is something that, you know, some people don't have. It's something that not everyone gets the blessing to be able to just have a new day and a fresh start, and you do. So I encourage you to take advantage of that and to let go. I just wanted to encourage you really quickly. I wanted to kind of create this get ready with me and just encourage you that there is still hope, and you don't have to feel like life is just gonna constantly get you down. There is a way out. There is hope. There are people who've gone through this. You're not alone. Stay encouraged and just let go. Let this be a season of letting go of the old things and kind of finding who you are. I'm not saying that it's an overnight thing, you know. Some of these things are years and years of hiding away, and years of abuse or trauma or whatever your story is. Like, I know that it's like years and years of work. Trust me, it took me 17 years to find true healing and to get to the place that I am in right now. And I don't want it to take you 17 years, but I get that sometimes it's a lot of years and it's a lot of baggage, and it's like, how could this be possible? Ew. How could this be possible, right? Because of everything that you encounter. You don't think that there is any hope or joy for you because you can't see that right now. You will be able to. I promise you. It doesn't matter what you went through, how big, how small, how ugly, whatever it is that you are carrying, I promise you, there's still hope for you. And you can still achieve the things that you think that you can achieve, the things that you think are too late for you. Nah, get out of here. That's just the enemy. He wants you to believe that there is nothing more for you. But there is. There always is time. It doesn't matter what season in life you're in. It doesn't matter how old you are, how young you are. It don't matter. Don't put limitations on what God can do for you. Okay? So be encouraged and cut off that dead weight. Cut it off. And if no one else is rooting for you, I am rooting for you. It might sound crazy, but I care about your journey just as much as I care about my journey. I literally feel like this is what I'm meant to do, to kind of encourage people and share my story, not be ashamed of it, because it can help someone. And if it can help someone, then that's all that matters to me. So today, I tell you, cut off that dead weight. Don't hold on to these things anymore, and let's just move forward. Love you guys. Thank you for joining me. Don't forget to turn on that notification bell. I will catch you in my next one. Bye, guys.